What is up, homies? MrNebula here. Welcome to another SpeedArt. But this isn't just any average SpeedArt. No, this is actually for my school. So what this is going to be is me sort of like commentating a summary, so to speak. I don't really know what to call this. But I'm just going to be talking over a summary on the Huckleberry Finn book. You're probably thinking, no, that's a really old book. Why are you doing this? Well, like I said, this is part of school. Anyways, yeah, what I did is I drew a picture of Finn, like, kind of laying down, sleeping sort of over a lake. I feel like I could have done a little bit better, but that's what it turned out looking like. Anyways, let's get into this. So The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn is sort of like a runoff from the story The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, another really old book, but I have not even read it, and I'm guessing it's good if this book is good. Which it is pretty good. Anyways, the story about a young boy around the age of 12 goes by the name Huckleberry Finn. At the end of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Finn gets rich with money, but does not really use it at all. Back to The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Finn gets adopted by Widow Douglas. She tries to force him to be civil, but Finn doesn't want it. Later on, Finn's father later found out that Finn was rich, so he kidnaps Finn until he gets the money for himself. By the way, Finn's father isn't really much of a father, just telling you. Finn's father puts Finn inside of his cabin, hidden highway inside the forest somewhere, until Finn's father can get the money for himself. Finn starts thinking of a way of escaping, so he gets the idea of making an escape route out, but leaving behind like smudged up red berries. Oxbog berries is what they're called. And he uses them to splatter across the wall, make it look like that he was murdered. Finn then takes his father's raft down a lake. After a couple of days, Finn runs into Widow Douglas's slave, Jim. By the way, the story takes place during the racist sort of era of the US. Finn was raised knowing that it was bad for a slave to run away, but because he was good friends with Jim, he decides to help Jim be free. On the trip to Jim's freedom, a couple of other events happened, but I don't want to give away too much. But one really important event was them running into a couple of comical characters. These two men were apparently running from their lives because of some mischief that they caused somewhere else. I don't really know what they did, but men and dogs were chasing after them. Did something bad. Finn ends up saving them, and they end up joining the rest of the ride. Finn doesn't tell them that Jim is a runaway slave, though. These two end up playing a big role in Jim and Finn in getting their way over to freedom. Both of them are sort of like the scheming salesman type. One man claims to be a king, and the other one claims to be a duke. Of course, Finn and Jim obviously know that they're both lying to begin with. The king and duke helped out in making a lot of money in the trip. They would scam people from plays, religion, even medicine, and more. There was even this one event where the king and duke pretended to be uncles of three young little girls whose father just died. The three girls' father had a will where part of the money went to his uncles, so the duke and king pretended to be those uncles. They both ended up getting exposed and had to run away with no money. After that, they stopped at a town called Peaksville. I think how you pronounce it. Finn was told to stay at their canoe with Duke while King and Jim went to town. The king ended up selling Jim. Jim was being held at a place called Silas Phelps Farm. That's where he ends up running into Tom. Finn convinces Tom to help him free Jim. Tom does agree, and I think so that there was one or a couple of failed attempts at getting Jim free. Once they did get out, but they barely made it out alive, Tom ends up getting shot in the leg. So Finn has to go get a doctor for Tom, but ends up giving away what they were doing. When the doctor was there with Tom and Jim, the doctor was actually amazed at how helpful Jim was and how caring he was for Tom. When everyone meets up again, Jim's owners weren't as harsh on Jim, and actually Jim ends up being free. And I don't want to say anything else, but that's the end of the story, and everyone ended up living happily ever after, just like every other story. Well then, I didn't know that I'd be finishing this that fast. The SpeedArt's gonna be still going, so I'm just gonna be leaving you here with some awesome music. And again, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe!